This is what human rights organizations say is taking place unchecked in a number of Lebanese homes: abuse and violence against domestic workers. Al Jazeera spoke to a Sri Lankan woman currently living in a shelter. Her story began when her employer found her crying in her room. Her identity is hidden for her own protection.
My madam asked me why I was crying. I said I haven't seen my family in 2 years, and I asked you if I can go home to Sri Lanka, but you won't give me an answer. That's when she hit me with a plate and broke my nose. Then she threw me out of the house. The neighbors wouldn't take me in because they were afraid. My mister came home at 10 p.m. and saw me bleeding. He let me sleep in his car, and in the morning he took me back to the agency.
Like many other domestic workers, Jessica's employer illegally confiscated her passport upon arrival and didn't pay her for a year and a half.
Agencies are recruiting girls in their country of origin, and they don't explain to them what their rights are, their responsibility, how they can avoid to be exploited.
Domestic workers are also excluded from labor law. As a result, they have no guarantee courts will punish abusive employers. Caritas says cultural attitudes towards those with a different nationality and skin color must change. And awareness campaigns like this one are meant to drive that message home.
There are thousands of domestic workers across Lebanon. Today is Sunday and it's their weekend, and they're out all over Beirut enjoying their day off.
They're able to do so because their employers have given them a day off. Some, however, told us they have friends who are never allowed to leave the house. The Ministry of Labour recently signed off on one standardized contract that all agencies must now use. It says the contract guarantees employees basic rights. It's an improvement, but the government stopped short of including domestic workers under the country's labour regulations. It also refuses to authorize spot checks on working conditions inside the home, even though that's where most of the serious violence takes place, far away from the public eye. That's where Jessica suffered most of her abuse.
My lawyer is following up on my case, and we are collaborating with my embassy. A request to go back to Sri Lanka is already with immigration. I want to go home. I just want to go home.
Jessica's social worker is hopeful she will get the money she's owed, but with no courts to go to. Her former employer has walked away free. Zeina Awad, Al Jazeera, Beirut, Lebanon.